Hey guys, I am up in far northern Wisconsin today, just south of Lake Superior on the Bad River Indian Reservation. It's home of the Chippewa Indians, and a despicable thing happened here right at this bridge many years ago. It was here back in 1959, in September, that Department of Transportation, Wisconsin, had to fix this bridge. And of course, this bridge here is new. And there was a traffic accident that damaged this bridge. And what happened was, when the Department of Transportation people got out here and they started fixing the bridge, they noticed bodies. It was an Indian burial ground here, and they took it upon themselves to take these bodies, and artifacts, and put them in the back of the truck as they went. And this was all witnessed by tribal elders. It was so sad. They were trying to stop them, and to no avail. To no avail. It was 10 years ago in 2010 that the state of Wisconsin Department of Transportation finally officially apologized to the Ojibwa Indians, First Nation Chippewa, to start. But the problem is that nobody is saying where all of these remains are, along with all the relics. Still to this day, truckloads. So, hey, state of Wisconsin, if you really want to apologize and start the road back, because they said this is the start of building the bridge back to relations, how about returning the ancestors? We're going to go to the cemetery right now, the Bad River Odena, and we're going to have a look around. Stay tuned. We are now in Odena, which is the central home of the Bad River peoples of the Ojibwa tribe, and we're heading here to the cemetery, which should be just ahead on the right. I think right here, yeah. Looks like this is it, guys. And we're in. Dolores Dory Martin passed away in 2015. There's a lot to see here, guys. It's a beautiful, serene place here in Bad River, in the woods. Well, I'll tell you that it's really a sad deal that happened to the people here back in the 50s and the 60s. It kind of reminds me of government and Native American, how people are treated. I'm going to share something with you. You guys don't know a lot about me. I'm a seaplane pilot, not my day job. But about 20 some years ago, I got into it. Finally worked my way up to my own little plane and got bigger and bigger. And it was the Franklin expedition of 1845 that really got me interested in. Well, I've always been an adventure explorer. And these two ships from England disappeared. Now this is going to get back to Native American. But I went to look for these ships over a period of 15 years. And back when I started doing it, nobody really cared. 128 men. Englishmen that disappeared, 2 ships, very famous ships. And an admiral and all that. So I did, once I started doing it, the Canadian government got on it, and this big government started threatening me, and they were putting their own expeditions together. And the point of it all is I was trying to help the Inuit at the time, and before that actually Native Americans. I work with the Lakota at Pine Ridge. I brought Jasper Bigfoot home, great-grandson of Chief Bigfoot, Wounded Knee. It's another story, but all of this was preparing me for my journey. And governments are just terrible, terrible people in power. And I did find one of the ships that led them to finally get on top of it. And I think, you know what, I'm just thinking right now, I found an Englishman's frozen doomed sailor's tomb, and I got that on video. I got another channel, Seaplane channel. I'm not pushing you to go to that. I'll just bring it from there, a clip that I think you guys would really love. And I also found, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I also found an Inuit, what I think it could have been a trader, fur trader. And this was all in the high Arctic 15 years ago. I think this was 2010, 11. And this guy was shot in the back of the head. It was either a mercy killing or a murder. And I got my video on that tomb also. So coming up, I'll sprinkle that in. So this cemetery is really interesting. I remember in the Arctic, I've got to dig back, but I have some pictures of the cemetery in Cambridge Bay, Aunt Joa Haven. I think you guys would love seeing that. If I can find them, I'll put them up here. But yeah, this is beautiful, and this is the open area, but a lot of it is integrated into the woods. Over here, we'll get over here and take a look. Scott Wiley, 1936 to 2000. I noticed that many Native American graves, they make these like little houses. If you look at the guy, I forget his name, Samson, he was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. There's a channel called Ready for Fun. I remember seeing, I think he did a video on Samson, and there are houses like this. I don't know if the body's encased in there, or I think it's underground, and I think this is just more of a symbolism of a home or covering. This is pretty similar to what I've seen in the Arctic. This is Gladys L. Couture, 1917 to 1989. Of course, we're probably not going to see a lot of pictures here. That is not the traditional way. Cecilia Ashman, 1941 to 1998. We have a World War II vet here, Raymond Couture. Let's see here. Private U.S. Army, World War II, 1913. 33, 40. He would have been in his 30s or late 20s in the war. He died in '02. Thank you for your service. Look at that, guys. It's a beautiful sculpture over here of a wolf. Look at that, with an eagle. It's seen its better days, for sure. And this is a wolf family plot. Bernard was in the U.S. Navy in World War II. Thank you for your service. I brought a man named, as I was saying, Jasper Bigfoot, that was 20 years ago, to Chicago from Pine Ridge. Pine Ridge Reservation was really in bad shape. We stayed with Willard Crow Dog family, and we were helping, and there's a lot of poverty there. We brought him back to Chicago. There was a radio DJ in Chicago, Kevin Matthews, a buddy of mine. My nickname, by the way, is Clutch Cargo, Seaplane Guy, Old Chicago Cartoon, long story. But we brought him back so that he could do some things with family in Chicago and friends. I'm sure he was in his 80s or 90s. We did a sweat lodge, and it was also in preparation for my expedition to the Arctic. Like I said, I work with the Inuit, Joahaven, Cambridge Bay. Here's a picture, gang. Jason Ike, Zagima Pero. He died young. God rest your soul, Jason. I can see over here the grave of Wiggins. That kind of rings a bell. I think that's the mayor's name. But I don't see his name here. That's good. Maybe this is the parents. Wife Kathleen, Kitty, and husband Jack. Jack passed away in 1984 and Kitty passed away in 1989, just after him. And I see here Jack was a veteran, Private U.S. Army, Korea. That's a commendable service, sir. Thank you for your service. I see in the woods a lot of graves embedded in with nature. It's quite beautiful. See another veteran over there. Let's have a look. Two bear cubs playing. This is the grave of Lawrence Smart. Lawrence was a private in the U.S. Marines. He passed in '07. Thank you for your service. Got a Packer fan here. Lawrence Smart with the Miller bottle. Step back over here. And Frank Cadote, or Cadote, U.S. Air Force, 2000. Boy, a lot of servicemen here. A lot of sacrifice for our country by Native American peoples. Well, we know that. Well, there's a few more to see. Let's go this way. This grave here is does not appear to have any markings whatsoever, but not forgotten by the family. That's all that matters. Virgin Mary, 1904 to 1983, and Agnes O'Connor, I think. Patty Ann Rayford, grandma, mom, wife, some beautiful flowers here. Boy, I wish there were some pictures. George Big Boy. George Big Boy was infant son. Here's a truck with flowers. Little dogs, little lion. 1980, 2 days. The angels are watching. The angels are watching you, little boy. Big boy. That's an interesting arrangement over here. There appears to be a box. Maybe it's a bench to sit on. Oh no! Look at this, Charlot, and that is a box with looks like dolls and things. Lots of remembrances here at this grave for Howard and Beverly Charlot. Howard passed in '95 and Beverly in 2002. And they were married in '89. So I'll tell you what, yeah, so here's what happened, and I'll put the clips in right now. Go back to many years into my expedition. The first tomb that I found was probably a fur trader, and that fur trader was shot in the head. You can see in the picture here. And then the other tomb that I found that was really exciting was I was hiking down a river, and now it's, you know, when you get into the Arctic, it's like the moon. There are pictures of the moon. Not that I've been to the moon, but you know, no trees, no. It's all sand, and I'm walking down this river, and I saw some stones that looked interesting. A pile, and it turned out this was probably one of the Franklin sailors. Now these men left England in 1845, 129 men, and they did not make it, none of them. And as such, the ships, they're on these two huge ships, the Erebus and the Terror. By the way, the Terror was in the Battle of Fort McHenry. These were English ships, of course. And they became beset in the ice. These guys spent 3 years up there starving to death, trying to get their way out on lifeboats, dragging them. No dogs. Just dragging them with human force. And one by one they died. There was a note left, a famous note that did say when the admiral died, and he died early. Sir John Franklin. And the bones are scattered, probably because of animals for many, many decades. Now, I made the mistake of touching that skull, guys. Yeah, remember what I said? Don't do that stuff. I mean, I didn't pick it up or take it, or you don't take stuff, but it resulted in me getting back to the airplane. And by the way, there's no getting out of there. And if you get stuck with your sat phone GPS position, they'll get you out, but not the airplane someday. So I get back to the airplane, and what happens? The entire electrical system's gone. The alternator failed. I had the battery. Luckily, I got the airplane the airplane was started. I got off the water, and I was able to get back to my base. But I had to go all the way home over a period of 3 days, flying with a GPS on my knee, the old little Garmin's, and just flying with the engine power, no instruments. It was brutal. To say I had a headache at the end is an understatement. This is interesting. This is another vet. It's a beautiful little cove here of trees. This is Fred Blanchard, World War II, 1915 to 1984. So he would have been no spring chicken. You know, he's not an 18-year-old in World War II. So a lot of these guys were in their 30s, even 40s, and they reported in for duty. I'll tell you, the Native American people, I'm a big fan, and I've tried to help over the years. They've really got the shaft. This is their land. Just got the shaft, and they continue to get the shaft from the United States government. But I don't want to get going on that too much. So I found one of the ships. I got an aerial picture of it. I think it was 2010 or 11. It was on my blog. The Canadian government was following my blog every day. I had web trackers when Ottawa would log in. Everywhere I went, they would go. They take pictures of my stuff and say they found it. That's fine. They own the CBC. They can make stuff up. I didn't have a social presence, but social enterprise. But anyway, some beautiful chimes here. This is another veteran, guys. Let's fix the flag. Another veteran. Warren Connors. I've never seen so many veterans. Vietnam private, U.S. Army. Died in 05. It's nice to see that a lot of these guys did live. Some not to a complete ripe old age, but So I found one of the ships, I photographed it, I put it in my blog, and guess what? 2 years later, they're over it with their ships, and hooray, we found it. Good for them. I mean, I was never in it for anything other than adventure, and the plan out of Joe Haven, we were working with the elders that we would exploit it for them, get some tourism. I'm telling you, you read up on the Inuit, they are all dependent on government. The government has the Inuit dependent on them because they don't want the Russians and the Norwegians or anyone else to take over that Arctic, because there's a lot of oil and gold and diamonds up there. But it's a whole nother story. Look up Resolute. That's a horrific story they did. This is Rachel Wesley Connors, 1915, 1987. It's a beautiful wood tombstone here. I think these graves are just amazing. They're real deal. So, you know, in my journeys, I had 2 times I was almost killed by polar bears. Once very close call. We had a plane crash, not a crash, but a plane down, fuel problem, and I got video of that on that channel. And it's a great experience, though. I used my 9 lives. The cemetery stuff's a lot safer, wouldn't you think? Let's see what's up here. It's a beautiful hand-carved bench I see. And Mother Mary, Queen of Heaven, is behind a PVC cross. Interesting little box here. Let's see if we can get this set back up. This is Frederick Blanchard, I believe. I don't see any names in here. Beautiful statue. Oh, here. Another World War II veteran. Really? Isn't this awesome? Fred Blanchard passed away in 1984. The story continues. Well, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. It was fun, so we'll see you on the next one, all right?